All right, here's one from Dead. He's in our chat tonight. Is it time to retire XenoThreat for good? Let's check it out. I like his editing style. Sometimes don't agree with all of his opinions, but that's the great thing about this place. You don't always have to agree on the opinions. You have an open mind. You have rational discussions like adults. Oh my God, does that happen? Yes, that happens. Hi, welcome to TG360. That was a good intro, dude. I like the intro on that.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, XenoThreat sucks. I've always said this, and I'm usually met with a lot of pushback on it, but I'm sorry, it's just not fun. Even besides all the issues it causes the server to have, and I will get to that, but
yeah.
For now, let's just stick to the actual event itself. The mission is derivative, it's boring, it drags out, and it's devoid of any feeling of urgency or importance.
It needs to feel more connected. I get what he's saying. Also, I'm very biased as I'm a PvP type dude, and I don't do a lot of missioning. So like, I'm gonna kind of blend back into the background here and let Dead speak, because I'm almost gonna mirror anything. Like, it's bad to ask me what I think about missioning, other than in terms of like the design or the game dev or like how it connects with other pieces. But like missioning into itself, I never have been a huge PvE grinder. I've never been the type to mission grind. So I'm just gonna kind of slink back a little bit. You started off real hard, Dead. I like that, dude. Dead's grabbing you by the balls. He's like, what are you doing, Dead? Dead, careful.
And the fact that our comms are constantly being lit up with an NPC complaining about them needing supplies for the most boring part of the mission. Now, before you click off this video or rush to the comments section to defend XenoThreat, just hear me out for a bit longer first, because I have a pretty good idea of what you're about to say, and if you don't keep watching, your comment's going to make you look like a dummy to everyone else who did watch it. My name's DeDLeader.
Dead, how long have you been doing this, dude? I love this because, like, I remember those vibes. I remember those feelings. Like, the dude never watched the whole video, so, like, obviously, the guy's basically mimicking what I'm saying type thing, And then you see the comment, and you're like, man, they're just not watching, And it gets you crazy. I remember those days. Dude, Dead, listen. When you get to this age, man, you've been doing it this long, it doesn't even phase you anymore. So I'm going to give you some light at the end of the tunnel, bro.
Yes, you're not going to hate me. Yes.
Eventually, no, but I'm saying, like, when you see those comments down there and that they didn't watch their video and it kind of bugs you, eventually you're not even going to get upset about it anymore. It's not even going to bother you. It won't even ping on your radar system. So I'm just letting you know, like, that is a very good thing. You're going to love that as a content creator. When that day comes, you're going to be able to breathe.
And please don't hate me.
I like his intro too.
So first off, let's look at how they advertise the mission. Yada, yada, yada. There's bad guys. Yada, yada, yada. A big ship needs supplies. Go to this asteroid belt and load boxes. And every now and then, some NPCs will be in the area, so cool, you better swat them down.
Get yourself a fan base, bro.
That's
You're building
the mission
it up.
in a nutshell. And now, this might be a fun scene in a sci-fi
Always
movie.
tell them what you feel.
In reality, it just plays out like a standard fetch quest, but with extra steps involved. You need to make enough money from moving boxes, nor do you make enough money fighting off XenoThreat, so there's no real financial incentive involved. There's just a bar that slowly increases until you get a small amount of money, compared to if you were just literally doing anything else in the verse at the time. So I asked a bunch of people in global chat who enjoy XenoThreat, what is it about this that you enjoy? And they all said, giant space dogfight. And I 100% agree. XenoThreat is Star Citizen's one big space dogfight event, and it's important to have that for the title. A way to get a bunch of players all together to have that kind of experience. It's a core defining feature of the space genre, especially one with so many ships in it. But other than that, the only other response I got was, it's good because if you don't like dogfighting, there's other things to do, aka the box moving, which is the most boring part.
Oh, you're gonna
PTU
I
enjoyers
you
watching.
Got a lot on
you
this,
all know
buddy.
that XenoThreat was the dynamic event that they ran tests on more than anything else in 3.18, because it needed so much work to update with PES to get working. almost every weekend during 2023 feels like I've participated in XenoThreat, and boy, did it not handle Pez well, even compared to how it is running now, which is dreamy compared to how it was early on. If you flew your ship into the wreck area, your ship would respond sometimes 5 entire minutes from when you gave it a command. Your best option was literally just to drift out of the area until you could regain controls of your ship because you were far away enough from the area that its tick rate kind of kicked back in.
The PT.
What? 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 What?
What? Uh-huh.
Hell. And what I'm getting at here is that XenoThreat has the distinctive feeling of them trying to desperately salvage an old event and adapt it to work with the new Pez system, which is causing much more work than if they had just scrapped the entire thing and made a new dogfighting event from the ground up to be optimized with the Pez system. It's like trying to update an old car with the new parts, but nothing clicks in, so it all just breaks down as soon as you drive it out of the lot.
Hey, what are all these holes?
These are speed holes to make the car go faster.
Oh, yeah, speed holes.
So
feeling the
I'm
weight.
not the ones to poo-poo something without coming up with any other sort of ideas on how things could be better. So hear me out here. So let's look at what this could look like to provide the most optimized experience possible for everyone and also make it more fun in the process. First of all, the whole running cargo boxes within the same areas that dogfighting is taking place, scrap that entire thing. Way too many entities all in the same area of the game to keep track of and also keep the dogfighting feeling
They're not going to worry
responsive
about
and
that.
exciting.
They don't care about that.
That being said,
But I hear
people
what he's
enjoy
saying.
having something to do that's not dogfighting.
They're not
who
gonna care
want to
about
feel
it.
important to the mission. So let's give them something to do. But let's make sure that both of these participants that are working on this mission feel like they need the other team. Put the non-dogfighting participants on a security point career type space
I mean,
station.
it does at times.
and have
It does at times feel like the phase of testing that we're at right now is like. Like I get the phase we're at right now is a really hard place to be in. We're between a rock and a hard place in where we're at right now. They're pooping out. They want as many object containers as they can. They're just in a phase now where they're just like let's throw everything at it kind of vibe. Meanwhile, Benoit at Turbulent, I'm like, man, I kind of want to hear more about server meshing and where they're at. If you guys remember on the Inside Star Citizen show we did, I don't know, it was over a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. Remember where they did the server meshing episode and it was like, it said episode 1 and they started to generally talk about where they were at with server meshing and then whoosh, you didn't hear anything? You didn't hear anything after that? I'm still to this day I'm like, guys, like we need to get back to that. Like I want to get back to that. Like where are we stuck? How are we stuck? Let's look at it. Open up the hood. Like just tell us brass tacks, you know, what exactly is the status of server meshing, which is frankly at the point that they're at, they're kind of banging their head up against the wall right now. The work's going to get done. It's just going to be a while. And in the meantime, and this is what we're, you know, this is kind of how most of us are feeling.
them need to hold the security terminals against waves of NPCs spawning in through elevators to keep a machine providing supplies for the fleet. Those supplies need to be ferried into a storage crate on the other side of the station and occasionally will shut down, requiring those protecting the security terminals to hack it again to keep it moving. The end goal for this team is to fill as many supplies needed into the storage crates while they fight off waves of NPCs, and the more supplies filled, the larger payout per participant on the space station and fighting in space. Meanwhile, and the other part of the system are in a different space station, the dogfighting team will be fighting off hordes of ships who are trying to dock onto that space station to attempt to disrupt the uplink for the ground crew on the other space station. The better the dogfighting team do, the more supplies flow freely to the ground crew and bigger the payout.
He's talking about flow.
Total.
He's just talking about
The
flow.
event for the day would end once the enemy eventually has gained full control of the station,
level design. It's just
shutting
level
down
design.
the ability for the ground crew to gain the bulk amount of supplies. From that point until the next day, when the second phase begins, people can still try and raid the enemy station to liberate more supplies for the other station, like a Korea/Jumptown hybrid, being paid per supply crate delivered to the UEE space station. Once Phase 2 begins on the next day, goal is to undock the supply crates that were filled on the previous day and successfully help them to escape to safety. The space station is now the area the dogfighting is taking place as NPCs try to attack and destroy NPC-flown Hull Cs that are attempting to arrive and depart from the station. Payments are made to participants in batches for each Hull C that successfully escapes. The amount of Hull Cs that can fill up are determined by the previous day's success. Meanwhile, the ground crew's mission is now on the other space station. They must hold back NPCs to keep a series of servers online, which are enabling the turrets on the other station to stay online to help defend the Hull Cs. This type of mission structure does multiple things for the game to run better. It has less people all in the same area, so less information needs to be sent back and forth between players and the server, communicating what everyone's doing. It gets rid of the asteroids, causing more entity variances, while giving the space station the same function as them by providing a field for the battle so you can visually tell where you're supposed to be. It gives each group, the ground and aerial crew, motivation to want the other team to
You need
succeed.
to talk with Elliot.
Since payouts are higher for everyone, dependent on
I'm actually not joking, but this is what Elliot does. Elliot stops by from time to time on the stream. Is Elliot here? Is Elliot in our chat right now? Dude, Ded and Elliot need to have a conversation about this because Elliot basically does this. This is what Elliot does. Nobody's going to let me know if Elliot's not in our chat. Elliot, can you get with Ded and talk about this?
Each team's success at their task.
Damn it, thank you,
It's a more interesting and dynamic mission structure since you could have other lawless players trying to maybe help on the first day to increase the payout. Then on the second day, they could join the enemy and try and steal and sell the supplies themselves for an even larger individual payout, which just gives all the lawful players more motivation to get involved to secure the cargo. And look, that's it. That's my pitch. I made this video because I haven't enjoyed XenoThreat, like, ever. And it always feels really hard and difficult to explain to people why that frustrates me. Because it's not so much that
it would take, they're not going to do that. I like where he's going with that.
That it feels like it's just completely missed the point. So even if it was working, it wouldn't be working in the...
Here's exactly what Elliot does. This is for you guys who don't know what I was speaking of a little bit earlier, just to fill you guys in. Elliot Maltby, who actually does a lot of what Dead is talking about. Structures missioning, and like that would be wonderful. Like, you know, like I would love it if Elliot took time to reach out to him. I don't know if they'll do the work, but that's exactly what Elliot does. So maybe next time I see him on stream, I'll mention you, Dead, because I think, you know, to me, makes sense, dude.
Sense of, you know, what it should be able to do as far as like an enjoyable mission should go. And so whenever I would say that I don't enjoy XenoThreat, I think other people who also have dreams and ambitions of how it could play out and how it should be get defensive of that idea. And I feel like I have the same sort of idea of, you know, how this dogfighting sort of event should be fun.
It makes more sense.
I just think it's
a bit
close,
more
but
structured.
It just misses the mark just a little bit.
Oh, do you, Dad? That's awesome, dude. I didn't know that.
That's all I wanted to say about it. Let me know in the comments below if you've got any ideas.
Be the dream team, Elliot and Dead together.
What do you think about my proposition is, or what your experiences with XenoThreat is in particular? Like, have I gotten it wrong?
I'm not much of a mission guy. I've run
right.
over to the point where I was like, all right. And personally, me, I'm not a mission guy anymore.
My name's DeDLeader. I'll see you out there in the verse. And special shout outs to all my patrons.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, Dad. Hey, man, express your opinions, man. I dig it. I dig it, man. Like, you know, there's a dude, here's a content creator willing to take some heat for his opinions, you know, and that's good. That's how you build your fan base. He's doing it. And one day he's not going to have to worry about comments where people are basically yelling at him, saying things that he actually said in the video much later, but they didn't take the time to watch it. So, Dad, don't worry about it, bro. You're doing great. Keep up the good work. Don't listen to the haters. Don't listen. You seem like you got a pretty positive attitude, man, and totally dig it. I like Dad. I like Dad.